What's going on, guys? We're outside in the pool, lovely weather, enjoying the good times. So we're gonna do a little Q&A. Took some questions off of Instagram, so I'm gonna answer them and give you guys my input. So I've never done one of these before, so let's try it out and see how it goes.
Okay, starting off with the first question. For clean bulking, how many calories you should be in plus?
Yeah, so that's kind of individual basis, right? So, if you can calculate your maintenance calories and then probably add 250 to maybe 500 at most, I would probably start off on the lower end, around 250, and then increase from there. Just using the mirror and the scale as your guide, and then that should tell you how you're progressing. If you're not really moving, maybe add a little bit more calories here and there, and if you're progressing too fast and you're seeing that you're putting on some body fat, scale it back down. So yeah, definitely the scale and the mirror will be your friend.
And what's your go-to cheat meal?
Oh man, go-to cheat meal, I'd have to say it's either sushi or a burger and fry. Like, those are probably like my two most utilized cheat meals. I do love a good pizza, but I don't think the pizza loves me.
Where do you get the best burger and fries from?
Some people say Five Guys. People on the West Coast will say In-N-Out. Yeah, some people will say Smash Burger. If you never had Smash Burger, they're pretty good as well. I mean, low key, I'm gonna say McDonald's. Like, when it's done right, a McDonald's burger is damn good. Double quarter pounder.
Favorite meal before training?
Favorite meal before training is usually just chicken and rice, to be honest with you. Just digests really easy. Next to that, I wouldn't say it's my favorite meal, but using like white fish is gonna digest a little bit easier than chicken. But if you want to say my personal go-to, it would be chicken and rice and a little almond butter as well, just to help slow down those carbs.
What's your advice on nutrition?
It's a pretty open-ended question, right? But I would say general nutrition, if you're trying to, come down in weight, simple: eat less, move more, watch where you're getting your foods from, because not only is it, the quantity, right? Either you're eating less or eating more, but it's also the quality. You don't want to eat less of just junk food, but you want to make sure you're getting in the right kinds of foods, and utilizing them at the certain times of days as well. So use those guidelines right there. Make sure you're getting in the correct amount of food, the correct type of food, and as well as the timing of the food as well. That would be some general advice for nutrition.
What is your current weight and when will you compete next?
Current weight as of right now, we're sitting at 263, 265, floating right there. Chilling out right now. I'm just going to maintain this for a bit before we do a bit of a cutting phase come October, as we get ready for a special event, a guest posing in Germany at the Dennis James Classic. So we'll be tightening up for that in October, and then after that we'll come back, do a bit of a rebound phase, a little mini off season, and then we'll start prep for New York Pro 2023 in about mid-January to end of January.
Favorite exercises for arm days?
Favorite exercise for me is standard preacher curl. I love the preacher curl machine, actually. One of my favorite exercises, and hammer curls, my favorite. And then as well as a good exercise for lengthening the bicep, I would say either a spider curl or a incline dumbbell curl. Those are some of my favorites right there.
Best movements for legs in your opinion?
I'm gonna go off of my body type, because I am more a person with a short femur. So the person with a short femur might get more out of squats than someone with like a longer femur. So I would say squats are my favorite exercise and the one that put the most mass on my legs. Behind that, I would definitely say a hack squat variation is good as well. If we're talking squats, pendulum squats are good too. I throw those in the mix, but barbell back squats have been one of my favorite exercises to do if you're trying to grow overall mass on your legs. And then following up, I love the Bulgarian split squats. They're a burner, so those are good to throw in your leg day. Superset those with something like a leg extension, where you're definitely getting that shortening position. You're really shortening the quads. So I think those are good.
What's your favorite chest exercise?
Ranking them, I would say it's going to be hard to find, but if you could find a neutral grip, like type of converging chest press, sternum press, I think that's one of my favorite exercises to utilize, mostly because you can really fully shorten your pec division just by bringing the bicep closer to the pec. So if you're thinking of like a barbell bench press, it doesn't really bring that bicep as close to the chest as much as, say, like a neutral grip converging chest press. So those are that's like my favorite my favorite chest movement that I've been utilizing the past year, that I think has really brought up my pecs. And I also I like a incline hammer press. I feel like that's the one where you can load up the most and has less risk of injury.
Is it possible to remove gyno without surgery, or are they selling everyone lies?
I mean, sometimes if you get like, you can call like the pseudo gyno, right? Like I guess you would call that when you're putting on body fat and you may get a little bit of extra fatty tissue around the nipple area, lower pec division, which may look like gyno. And then when you cut down and you're also using all these anti-estrogens, it may kind of go away. But if you have true gynecomastia, that can only be removed. That can only be getting rid of by removing the glandular tissue. So personally, I've had it done, and I think if you're going to get on stage, that's something you should probably put away money for. If you're going to compete, you should already have in your mind, let me put away some money for a gyno surgery, just because if it happens, then you have the money set aside. It's not something of a shock for you. But if you don't need it, then hey, that's money set to the side.
GH en masse, 8 IUED, how to take?
Every day. Right?
Every day.
Right. Personally, I find anywhere from 4 to 6 as a good sweet spot, and I don't really do every day. I like to do a split of, say, 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, so I hit it about 5 days a week. You can split that however you'd like. I personally take off Wednesdays and Sundays from using GH. All right, guys, so back in the apartment, camera overheated. It's quite hot outside, so we got that good weather going on, but back in the apartment in the cool breeze. So we're gonna answer some more questions. Last time we left off with the GH question, so we're gonna continue with some more. So let's get to it.
Will you compete at Open or 212?
Open or 212? I'm going to say that I'm going to do the Open. That's my plan. Right now, I think I mentioned my weight earlier. We're sitting around like 263 to 265, and we plan on staying around this weight, maybe going up a little bit more, and then coming down to compete at the New York Pro next year. So yeah, definitely Open is the goal.
How many hours a day do you work out? And hi from Japan.
What up, Japan? Japan in the house. Yeah, big fan. Want to go to Japan. That's on my bucket list. Place to travel. Everybody knows I love anime. I love all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I watch so much anime I could probably speak Japanese.
Almost.
Probably, almost. So, hours a day that I work out, I'll probably stay in the gym about maximum of 65 minutes maybe 90 minutes for something like a leg day or a back day. Never really go past 2 hours. I don't do that anymore. So 90 minutes at most.
Importance of training frequency for a muscle group to build muscle.
Frequency is on the scale of importance, but I would say honing down and locking in on your execution first would come before that. So say for my back days that we're doing now, we have 2. Right now we're really locking down these 2 back days, making sure the execution's right. We have the right amount of intensity techniques put into them, so drop sets and supersets and other such. But before we got to that second day, we made sure that we locked down all those factors from our first day. And when we found that, okay, maybe we just need more frequency, we increased it to the second day. And before that full second day, we actually started throwing back in on as a secondary, a few secondary movements to another day. So we had back day and then like a half a back day. And then when we found like we were ready to increase the frequency, we stepped it up to a full back day. So start there first. First day, the first day you have locked down the technique and intensity techniques that you're using. And then maybe increase and throw in a little bit more volume or frequency on another day, and then throw it again, and then increase more frequency later on.
I have shit chest genetics, like a chest gap. If my chest gets bigger, will the gap look smaller?
Yeah, I don't think you have shit chest genetics. Like I have a gap in my chest, and I've found that as I've progressed more in my chest development, that the gap is getting smaller. You still have a bit of a gap, like right about here for me, but as it gets smaller, as you increase your chest density and thickness, you'll be able to see that it looks more pleasing, and you won't be able to really tell too much. So I don't think you have shit chest genetics. Then, you know what I mean? It's just something that we have to deal with and work a little bit harder.
Okay, when did you know you were ready for your first show? I'm thinking of competing next year.
Okay, I didn't know I was ready actually. You know, I was just a young dude, didn't know my right from my left, and I was just gonna just jump into it. I wanted to bodybuild. So the coach I was working with at the time, Fred Smalls, was like, okay, we'll put you in a local show, and that's what I did. And then I did well at the local show, and he said, okay, we're gonna put you in the Team Universe. And I did that, and I was like, okay. I didn't know that was a national level show. And then we went and did Team Collegiate Masters Nationals, and I did the Collegiate Nationals there, and I did well at that. And I didn't even know, you know, the scale of how good I was, or what was perceived to be a job well done at a show, you know, outside of placing, okay, you placed top 5. I just was like, I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. So I would say, if you want to get your feet wet, don't get caught up on the minutia of it just yet. Get the experience, decide if you want to, you know, go from there and progress from there. But I wouldn't get caught up on the, you know, I have to be 100% perfect before you step on stage. You know, so go ahead, step on stage, feel it, love it, and then progress from there.
How do you keep track of progress when you travel to different gyms with different equipment?
That's difficult for me, and that's something that I'm still working on, because, you know, we are creatures of habit, and we have our own environments that we perform well in. So stepping outside of my own personal comfort zone when traveling and going to different gyms, sometimes I can feel a bit difficult, especially when the weights and machines are a lot different than what you're used to, and you have to kind of change up your routine. But, you know, I always just try to find similar movements. You know, if I'm doing a horizontal, you know, pulling movement or a vertical pulling movement, I'm like, okay, if I can find something similar, then I'll be okay. And it's enough to make up ground for the day, even though the workout may not feel as perfect as when you're at home in your comfort of your own gym. So that's usually what I do. You know, I usually try to find movements that are similar if they don't have the machines, or they don't have the equipment to perform the exact exercise. You know, I try to stay on my toes and be able to pivot and maneuver and make those exchanges when necessary. So yeah, that's kind of how I stay on track.
Okay, what's your diet right now for all the size? I competed at middleweight and started moving up.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I started as a middleweight and won my pro card as a super heavy. So yeah, I would say my current diet is aimed at maximizing my digestion first. I think that's very key. You don't want to just throw a bunch of food at your system if you're not digesting it well, because I think that's equally as important as taking in adequate amount of calories. Is make sure you're digesting those calories and those food groups that you're using. So make sure that my digestion is on point. Make sure my nutrient timing is on point. And those are the things, the right kind of foods and the right amounts at the right time. So in the morning, we just switched to cream of rice, digests really easily, because we've just been using oatmeal, so we're switching the type of carb, glycemic rate, you know, so it's a little bit of a faster digesting carb than oatmeal. So we've also implemented on my second meal some almond butter to slow down the digestion of the white rice that I'm using, and we're also using almond butter later on in some of my other meals to help slow down digestion, flaxseed oil. So that's what my meal plan consists of right now in the off season, is maximizing those three things: the food digestion, the nutrient timing of the food, and also, you know, making sure that the food is of a quality ingredients.
What's your current supplement stack?
So currently, for my supplements from ProjectAD, my sponsor, I'm using their Nitrox, which is their pump pre-workout. That's one of my favorite pre-workouts to use, non-stim, strictly a pump formula. I use their collagen 2 ways pre and post-workout. And I also use their Raging Full, which is their carbohydrate powder, which has which is a 3-carb blend: holly branch, liquid dextrin, pea starch, and tapioca starch. You could use that pre, intra, or post. I like to use it post-workout.
Okay, any new training videos coming on YouTube channel or elsewhere?
Yes, tons of training videos coming out on the YouTube soon. We're gonna get back on the roll with that. Maybe TikTok if I ever get into it. I don't know, maybe I'll probably get into it, but I'll be making sure to vlog my workouts on YouTube, and to also put more clips and reels up on Instagram as we're getting ready to move into the next phase of the off season.
What's your favorite Chinese restaurant?
My favorite Chinese restaurant is here in Chinatown, Philly. We have Thai Lake. I go there all the time with my boy and his family, my best friend from high school. Shout out to Evan Chan. We go there for Chinese New Year. We go there for a pre-Christmas dinner. Sometimes we just go there just to have a good meal. So yeah, Thai Lake in Chinatown, Philly is a great place to go to. They have a bunch of great restaurants there, so if anyone's interested, I can send you a list.
What makes you feel positive and powerful throughout the day?
So for me, it's, you know, looking back and comparing my previous performance to my goals for today. So I like to think of like the Jordan Peterson quote, you know, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone is today. So I try to make sure I compare my performances to yesterday's or the weeks prior, and that gives me a good aim to improve.
Some of your favorite movies?
Man, damn, I can go on this question forever because I'm a big movie guy. I would say some of my favorite movies, just to go off the bat, are The Godfather 1 and 2. Favorite movies. Perks of Being a Wallflower is really good. It's one of my favorites. And man, I really like Your Name is good. It's a good anime movie. It's one of my favorites. Man, other ones. There's so many. The Crow is a really good one starring Brandon Lee. That's like a low-key film. That's really good. I could watch that film over and over. And I'm gonna round it off and also say that one of my favorite films is The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. One of my favorite ones. Heath Ledger as the Joker. Yeah.
Do you play video games? If so, what consoles do you own?
I used to play video games a lot. I used to be real heavy into them. But as of late, well, not even as of late, probably as of like 5 years ago, I just kind of stopped playing video games. I do have a Nintendo Switch though, that I was gifted for a Christmas gift by my sister and my parents. So I play some Pokemon sometimes on that, kind of pass the time. But other than that, I don't really play too many video games.
Last question. What makes you happy?
Ooh. I think I just, being there for my family, my friends, my girlfriend, just being able to be there for them. And yeah, seeing the smile on their faces, that makes me happy. Overall, it's more so about, giving back what's been given to me, and I try to make sure that I'm making them as happy as can be, and bringing them as much joy as they bring me. So, thank you guys tuning in for the Q&A. Just to start, something to get the ball rolling. So we would like to continue doing these. So when I put out a Q&A video story on my Instagram, please check it out. If you see it, drop some questions, we'll answer them. And if you have any training questions, life questions, any kind of questions, please send them through and I'll be sure to answer them. So on to the next one, guys. Peace.